Maria, give me a chance. My old lady don't give me no more enough no more. Hello, huge movie fanatic Nate, stopping on by for yet another Nate watching, aka fan commentary of me watching my second favorite Sleepaway Camp movie, Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. Before we get started, let me do my thing I've just been doing lately where I just check to make sure I'm audible, and then we'll get right into the movie. I suppose I need to be blabbing about something to as I check to see if I'm audible. So we'll just say, Maria, give me a chance. My old lady don't give me no more enough no more. Maria. My old lady don't give me no more enough no more. Okay. Is that how I sound? Good. I hope so. So let me just. Just like with my watchings of the first two Sleepaway Camps, I'm a proud owner of Sleepaway Camp 3 Scream Factory Blu-ray. It's so funny because when these came out, I was like too cheap to buy them. I almost didn't buy 2 and 3 on Blu-ray, and I ended up finding them at half price used. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll buy them. Good thing I did because holy crap, now they're out of print and ridiculously priced on eBay and things like that. So I'm seeing the menu just cycling the scenes. If this is your first Nate watching fan commentary, just know that for obvious copyright reasons, you're not gonna see or hear the movie on my channel. I do ask that everyone who's not very familiar with the movies that I do commentaries for watch the movie on their end with my audio. But the chances are a lot of people that listen to these commentaries are huge fans of the movies, so maybe they know the movies well enough where they don't need to um, watch the movie along with them. I did a little bit of I played back a little bit of my last one watching Sleepaway Camp 2 along with the movie, and it looked like after a while, maybe 15, 20, 25 minutes, it kind of started to get out of sync. So that was kind of a bummer, but it's kind of cool to hear it back with the movie played. So I would highly recommend people do that if they so choose. So why don't we, with no further ado, press play film on the Scream Factory menu, and just like with the second film, for some reason, I guess MGM logo there. MGM, I guess, at the time of these Blu-rays releases, and possibly still own the rights to the two Sleepaway Camp sequels. Dan Wakefield presents a double Helix Films production of a Michael A. Simpson film. And then fading onto a trashy bed, we see a girl in just a shirt and underwear waking up. She's got a wig on. This is the character Maria Nacastro. she's a she's a under what do they call them? Underprivileged camper here, and that's supposed to live in New York. I don't think they filmed the beginning of this movie, which I think is supposed to be in New York. I don't think they filmed it in New York, but it was a very seedy part of wherever the hell they filmed it at. This is the character Maria, once again, Nacastro, and this actress obviously probably already had this lovely tattoo here, which we'll get a quicker look at, fortunately, that says milkshake right above each breast. Knick-knack shop. Now, it's funny because you'll see her start to walk really fast, and then she slows down right there. That's because I would imagine the director said, slow down. What's really cool about this Blu-ray is it features the entire VHS work print version of this movie, so you can see the movie, the first, or presumably one of the first cuts before it was edited finally or the final edit for the distribution, and you can hear a lot of, there's no music yet, and you can hear a lot of the just, original audio and stuff. So that was, she starts off that walk faster and then slows down. That's because the director's like, slow down. This scene is so freaking random as she's being chased by a garbage truck. This does work pretty good as the mannequin gets hit. And we're just wondering what the hell is going on at this point. But our curiosity will be allayed. There's some Frito, speaking of lay, Frito Lay box. I don't know if that was intentional. We've got a very skinny character here. It can only be Pamela Springsteen playing once again, second and final time, the role of Angela Baker, throwing Maria Nacastro in the back of the garbage truck and pulling the lever to splat her. It's off camera, but she's gonna push this body back into the garbage truck. This is just such a random, goofy ass beginning to this movie, which is basically showing the viewer that Angela Baker is killing this camper who's inner city camper who's on their way to this Camp New Horizons. So she's gonna wearing a wig. It actually looks pretty good in my commentary, or not my commentary, my review of this movie that I did years ago. I mentioned that I think this wig actually makes Pamela Springsteen look better than she does in the second film. So as she gets onto the van with the Camp New Horizons flag thing on, the van pulls away and we see Angela is back spray painted on the wall. And I think we've got some like late 80s metal music here going on. Once again, just like the beginning, the abbreviated credits for the second film, the metal music that's playing here is fun as well, as just like the metal music that plays during the abbreviated opening credits of the second film. Looks like someone stopped by to support the commentary with a thumbs up. Thank you very much for doing so. I went on a really beautiful, there's really beautiful weather over the weekend and also continuing today. I went on a bike ride today and I was trying to rack my brain on the trail there on my way back when I first saw the third film. And it was probably, I was trying to think when I was doing one of the other commentaries that I probably saw the first one first when I was 13, and maybe I didn't see the third one until I was 14. But it wouldn't be until I think I was in my 20s that I'd actually see the second one. So here we have this reporter. What's really cool about this movie is this reporter. They're using this reporter to basically introduce all the characters and let us know what's going on. Basically, I think this was supposed to be the following year after the events of the second film, and I mentioned it in my commentary for the second film. They filmed Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 back to back. So at the start of this production, although it's except for Pamela Springsteen, it's all new cast members. I'm sure the crew was probably the same, and obviously the director and stuff. So right after they finished the second one, they went on a very tired and probably exhausted crew, and Pamela Springsteen went on to make the third film. But all these actors, obviously, that are featured in the movie, it's their first one of these, so they're not as exhausted, unless, of course, they ran a marathon before filming. But we're basically, this reporter right now is introducing the privileged kids, and that redhead right there is Melanie Griffith's sister, I think. Don't quote me, but I think so. I got the cast member of Sleepaway 2 wrong until the end credits. I was like, oh, wrong person. She looks more like the person I thought she was related to than who she's really related to. This Asian chick would also go on to be in the original Night of the Demons as well, or had already been in, or whatever. As we introduce I can't remember what they call them on this TV program, lower class, underprivileged kids. I can't remember what they call them. There's Tony, East LA, and here's Pamela as Maria Nacastro in a wig and sunglasses. She's got to keep a low profile because her face is well known around these parts. So basically, the plot of this movie is, I don't remember if it's a year. I would assume it's a year later. Obviously, the camp Rolling Hills of Part Two is now gone, and this Herman and Lily Miranda, played by Michael Pollard. Is it Michael Pollard? Jesus, I think it's Michael Pollard, and this other woman are now the owners of the renamed Camp New Horizons, and they're going to do this um, exercise and sharing between a group of, you know, rich kids and less rich kids, underprivileged kids, the inner city kids. So they're gonna get two of these groups together and put them out to camp out in the woods and see how they get along. Which I think this is so much more interesting, the premise of this movie, than what happens in the second film. And once again, like I said in my commentary for the second film, I much prefer the character of Angela as a camper versus a counselor. I don't like that about the second film at all. This guy kind of looked like Robert Hiltzik. The cameraman there is kind of funny, but as we can see, the leaves here are turning, which is cool. And one of the many things I love about Sleepaway Camp 3 is kind of the fall camping slasher movie, which is kind of cool. Most of them obviously, take place during the summer, even though the majority of them, like the Friday the 13th and even Sleepaway Camp to an extent and stuff, have, leaves that are going from green to changing colors and stuff. I do like the aspect of this movie being a fall summer camp horror movie. This high class reporter woman asked Maria, Angela, as Maria Nacastro, for some cocaine. So uh Angela's gonna I gotta stop calling her Maria because her name's not Maria. Angela's going to give her a little bag of, I don't know, some kind of cleaner that'll really clean out her pipes. This is like detergent or something. I think it was a relatively big deal for the production to get a hold of this Ferrari to have this bitch character drive. I can't, I would imagine the owner was all, freaked out every time they had to do a take and have this woman pull up and stop and, put it in park and turn it off. And I imagine the owner was not too keen on this and also probably didn't want any blood in the car, as she's the first kill in the movie. Actually, no, it's not the first kill. Maria Nacastro was the first kill. First kill at camp will be this reporter taking a huge snort of what she thinks is cocaine, and it's some kind of, once again, I don't know, granulized cleaner. This actress probably hated doing this because, as you can see, she's kind of attractive and, probably more at home in a soap opera just looking beautiful. I bet she hated doing that, spitting out the blood and hanging out the Ferrari. We just set up the character, the who's got the firecracker guy. Here's Michael Pollard. It's just a firecracker. I thought you city brats would be used to that. I didn't say, I said it after the fact, not in sync with the character, but that was the first line where Michael Pollard was like kind of played with his Playboy bunny belt buckle there, and in no time he's gonna woo the what I would regard as the most attractive camper, the played by I can't remember her name, but her character's name is Jan Hernandez. She's the one in black here that you can see in the background there. She's sitting down off screen. It's not my table. Bobby Stark as a character, I think I gush about in my review of the movie that I did years ago. He's a funny character, and once again, this is one of the things I love about this one compared to the second one. Is it's a fun idea to take the, upper class and lower class kids and mixing them together. A lot of, as we see here, a lot of comedy can be had from that. There's Riff, and what's ironic about the guy who plays Riff is I hear tell that in real life he was the exact opposite of Riff, and I think he wanted to play the other guy. or be the other character, but he was relegated to Riff. And for the record, I think you wouldn't know that he's, you know, not that character because he plays that character so well. Here's Bobby Stark talking to what's her name? Angela, posing as Maria Nacastro. But once again, I think she looks better in that wig. As I keep on saying, I saw Sleepaway Camp 3 before ever seeing the second film, and I think once again, I think that the wig looks great on Pamela Springsteen. And when I saw, when I got around to actually seeing the second film, I'm like, God, she looks kind of. The wig just makes her look not as skinny in this movie, and when she doesn't have the wig on in the second film, it's just like, oh my God, she just makes her look all the more skinny. There's Jan Hernandez at the table with Bobby Stark. The redhead has a thing for Tony, the underprivileged guy there. Here, this woman little flirtation between Michael Pollard and Jan Hernandez. Here's Cindy. What do you mean by camping out? Well, this is the movie. Another thing I love about this movie is the premise, unlike the first two, where they're just hanging around cabins and doing this and that or whatever, is going out into the woods with tents and camping out, which, out of the three films is unique. What are we going to eat? Fish, mostly. Well, look at Tony. Yeah, it's good for you. Besides, it's better for her. But there's Jan Hernandez. Look at Herman there. Oh my! It's so funny. It's kind of a play on the yeah. Do the guys get to sleep with the girls? It's kind of a play on the characters in the first film, where you've got this attractive counselor who's all interested in the older camp owner. I guess it's just they're just continuing that. They didn't do that in the second movie. They're just kind of paying an homage to the first film by having the sexiest chick be interested in this goofy ass male camp owner. As you can see here, they were just about to sing I'm a Happy Camper, but luckily, I'm not a big fan of that tune. Officer Barney Whitmore, aka Captain James T. Kirk, has arrived and spares us the grief of listening to another rendition of I'm a Happy Camper. So this character, of course, is the father of the character from the second film, Sean Whitmore, who was decapitated by Angela Baker at the end of the movie. Are you a cop? Yes. Burp. 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 Hey, you got a problem? Suck my dick, Spick, you motherfucker. I gotta try to remember to say things and do things to keep people synced if anyone's watching. I'm back with the movie, which I'm not sure if people do or not. I keep asking in these commentaries, people let me know if they're watching the movie back with it, and no one says anything, which maybe answers the question. Asshole. But I mean, as you can see, this Officer Barney Whitmore here, with the strength of a Terminator, looks a lot like William Shatner. He could be a William Shatner double. I'm pretty sure he was in Return of Swamp Thing. He was the character he played. He briefly played the character of Swamp Thing before he turned into the Swamp Thing, in a flashback. Or actually, no, it was kind of like an hallucinogenic lovemaking scene between Swamp Thing and what was it, Heather Locklear's character, like an hallucinogenic sex scene where they could. I give you Jan Hernandez top. Oh my God! Excuse me. So obviously, probably having the more I think about it, I think I probably saw this movie for the first time at 14. Obviously, being a heterosexual male, this scene was very fun for me, and it still is because I'm still a heterosexual male. And oh my God, the character of Jan Hernandez is, yeah, just give me a minute. Okay, well, she's got the shirt on already, but um, yeah, the character, the actress who plays Jan Hernandez, we'll just say she really does it for me, and I'm pretty sure this is the only movie she's ever been in. But she just it's just the epitome of like hot ass chick from the late '80s. I just like love her hairdo and all this and that. Now they're talking about what does it say? I think that spray paint, that graffiti says "fuck Angela Baker," and then now they're talking about the character of Angela Baker, and while Angela Baker is listening. Right here, we're just given a little bit of information that the rich parents pay $3,000 for their child to go do this little experiment in sharing, and the government probably pays the Herman and Lily Miranda probably something close to that for the underprivileged kids to go to this Camp New Horizons experiment and sharing. I think that would be the only scene that would be take place in the old, the cabins from Sleepaway Camp 2. And frankly, they're kind of boring. And by the time we spent so much time in them in part two. By the time you get to three, I'm glad we're moving things outdoors. And I guess we'll see him again at the end of the movie, but it's the last time we see him for a while. Here we have the character Barney Whitmore, Sean Whitmore's dad, checking the ID of the killer of his son. She's Angela posing as Maria. Like I say, he could easily be a William Shatner double. But I'm pretty sure I already said something to this effect that, seeing these characters that are now going to get paired off in their groups or whatever, I definitely like the characters in this third film much more than the characters in the second. They're just not only the characters, but the actors they get to fill the roles are just much more interesting to me as Snowboy spray paints the registration sign, and there's Jan Hernandez. Oh my God. Even with clothes on, she does it for me. But for me, the characters in this movie and the performers that fill the roles are just so much more interesting than the majority of the characters in the second film. And it is funny to see this Lily Miranda, so just stupidly optimistic about this. She's raking in, 5 grand per kid here and just happy to make all this money and just sending them out into the woods with a box of food and or box of whatever because they catch the food. Remember, they fish, but Officer Bonnie Whitmore is breaking the rules a little bit and has some hot dogs in the box here. But once again, yeah, I mean, the camp out aspect of this one is I really like. And oh, incidentally, if I can go off on a little bit of not so much about the movie, but real life experiences. I never really was one for, or I never really did camping out except for in the backyard as a teenager and stuff. And this year, we did it like 3 times. And I kind of, unfortunately, because it always seems like something that'd be fun to do. And unfortunately, having done it 3 times this summer, I'm afraid that camping in a tent is really not necessarily my forte. But the third time, it was like, really, really hot and humid, so that probably didn't help. But I was able to actually eventually get to sleep. But it's kind of a bummer that, having tried or not tried, but having done like camping in a tent 3 times this year, it's just like, yeah, it might not really be my forte. But I might just keep. I don't know. We might just keep doing it to try to. It's cool in one aspect and uncool in another. Like for me, it's just like I'm not used to just. Obviously, if you're sleeping in a tent, the tent walls, if you will, don't provide any sound, dampening or anything. It's just weird to hear because no matter where you are, where we go, obviously you can hear a distant freeway, but I would imagine you pretty much going to be able to hear a distant freeway no matter where you go, any campsite or whatever. There's the character of Jan Hern. Let me know when you want these sticks, Mr. Miranda. Anytime, Sweet Pea. And call me Herman. Where's Snowboy? Snowboy. Yeah. What? We're gonna go fishing. What a dildo. But the third time we did it is we gotta eat, don't we? I hate fish. That's no way to talk, Sweet Pea. Oh, she's so sexy. The third time we camped, it was frickin' we had reserved the site and like a week in advance, and it was cool when I reserved it. And then by the time the week came around, the camp night came around, it was like frickin' hot and humid as all hell. And oh my god. It's you don't have to go fishing if you don't want to, Sweet Pea. I said that late. There's the awkward scene, a shot of, like the whatever between Jan Hernandez and Herman. And in the VHS work print version that's on the featured on the Blu-ray, there's a moment that a more awkward moment that happens after they cut here. There's a little more extra, a couple seconds more footage on that shot of their heads meeting, and you can I know why they cut it out is in the final version, because it just showed the awkwardness of these two, actors or actress and actor just trying to do this, like, physical getting together on camera when, Michael, I don't know, who knows, maybe Michael J. Pollard was lifetime virgin. I don't know his personal situation or whatever, but you can tell they're just both kind of uncomfortable as the firecracker guy is pranking on Angela. It's cool to see upper class and lower class campers getting along there, as we see now. Look at that! Oh my God, she is so. This is just kind of hard to watch. It's fun and hard to watch at the same time because she's so uncomfortable. I imagine it's just like one take wonder. I'm sure it's just the first and final take. I can't imagine they had her do that. I mean, just oh my God. Look at she's like kind of smiling and he's all. I mean, it's really uncomfortable to watch as an adult. I didn't As a teenager, I didn't really see that aspect of it. I just was looking at the chick. But as an adult watching that, this kind of quote unquote, foreplay between Herman and Jan, and he grabbed her boobie right there. And there's even going to be one scene, the one bit here where look at that mouth on mouth kissing. It's like so uncomfortable. Then he's going to actually put his mouth on her nipple, and oh my God. Later on, she's gonna okay. Here, look at her. She's like, okay, where are you going, buddy? I'm a little concerned. Okay, I'm gonna put my mouth on the nipple now. Oh my God. And they probably had to cut her horrified reaction out there. Okay. Oh my God, Jan Hernandez. I bet this is. I mean, I would assume it's the hottest chick that Michael J. Pollard had ever you know monkeyed with. It's hard to say, but oh, we got company. But one could imagine. I won't mention it, or I won't talk about, or I won't say it. Maria, give me a chance. No, lady, don't give me no more enough, no more. Smack, 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 smack. Herman, come back in here. What are you doing? Well, it looks like he's getting hit with something, Jan. I know you're not that smart, but shit. Uh, oh my God. Smack. And unfortunately, the character Jan Hernandez has already departed, which is a bummer. It's so funny how this movie is really pretty short. I mean, the first three sleepaway camps are really short. And the wonderful image that is Jan Hernandez is now gone. We'll see her briefly one more time at night, when she puts some other body into the tent and before she ignites the tent with the gasoline and a torch. But yeah, I mean, I guess for me, seeing this camp set up with the tents and stuff and the fire pit and all this and this, I mean, the idea of camping is more. camping out, I should say, in tents and stuff is more agreeable than actually doing it. But I don't know. I kind of want to just keep doing it until it just becomes. I still have the drive to want to keep do it, So maybe I won't give up, and maybe we can keep doing it until it just becomes more natural. And by the third time, it definitely did become more natural for me. And can try to sync you up with a firecracker here. Bums away. Warned you. Party all night. Teenage Wasteland. Why did I think this of any different? Once again, just like with the second movie, looking at Pamela Springsteen there reminds me of me at the age of 12. I meant to put a link to. I'll try to do it with this if I can remember with this commentary for the second film and this one. Put a link to a video that shows me at the age of 12, so you can go check me out at 12 if you have if you're so inclined to do so, to see how much he really does look like in these two movies. Looks like me at the age of 12. So here we've got a romance blossoming between Melanie Griffith's sister, and she's a privileged camper, and Tony, whatever his name is, he's an underprivileged, lower class homes. He's from lower class homes, and she's all getting a lustful for this guy, as we have a scene here, which is supposed to be kind of scary, and the character Tony's scared by something. And just like with the nighttime footage of Sleepaway Camp 2, the nighttime footage here works pretty good, as we can see the turning leaves going from green to brown or whatever, as a raccoon is scaring the hell out of him. I would imagine I would imagine that while they were out there filming, maybe that raccoon really came around, and maybe they just filmed it, and who knows, maybe they made, having filmed the real raccoon, maybe they made this little bit, knowing of them being afraid, scared by something, knowing that they had that raccoon footage. That would, you know, that occurs to me that could quite possibly be the case. Because why would you film something like being afraid of a raccoon in the woods, and unless you had already a shot of a raccoon in the can? Yeah, so as we see these two characters, shouldn't well, I guess their heads realistically would probably be in the tent, but I guess for the purposes of the scene, their heads have to be out of the tent, which makes no sense. Why would you have a tent and have your, legs and feet in the tent part and your head sticking out where, it can get rained on, or whatever? But as we'll soon see here, there's a reason for it. This is kind of cool where they set up this character with the firecrackers tormenting characters, and also Angela, and he's gonna die by his own firecracker. This shot is great where she lights it, and this character slowly sees what's going to happen, and then just in time to see. I said that too, just a moment too soon. Batter up, clunk. I did the explosion just a fraction of a second too soon. If anyone's trying to watch this back with the or listen to this while syncing up the movie. This is our last image we'll have of topless Jan Hernandez. Oh my god. And I think they're, I think they're even natural, which is really amazing. As she takes what is presumably gasoline or something and puts over this tent. And what's so funny about this is it's probably another one take wonder, and I would imagine the reaction Pamela Springsteen gives here, where she kind of takes, hops away from this, is probably real, not expecting such a big explosion. But we see her light the flare once again to sync you up. Boom, and see, she kind of goes running from it. I can see the dummies in there. Look at that. There's me at 12 once again. I didn't have that my hair didn't look like that though. But if I was wearing that wig at 12, it'd look just like me. As she gets some marshmallows and she's gonna roast over the fire of dead corpses. Morning. Yeah, once again here, seeing these characters, we've got the Herman, or not Herman, Lily Miranda here. I guess the Asian chick is probably one of the less developed characters, but I guess that's the whole point. Her character is just kind of a bitch, so she doesn't really have much to say. So funny how he puts the boombox out, and they've got the generic hip hop stuff going on here for Riff to come out of his tent rapping. He can't even exist without his stuff, and yeah, like once again, seeing all these characters, with the exception of the Asian, because there's really not much character to her character. They're fun for me, you know. Oh, okay. So seeing Pamela Springsteen's, that's a cool shot of her or me at 12, either or. Seeing her feet reminds me that what the character of Angela is doing in this movie is, what is it? A group of three separate? I think it's three separate groups and go off into the three separate groups into the woods. One of them is basically under the supervision of Herman, one of them under the supervision of Herman's wife Lily, and the other one under the supervision of Sean Whitmore's dad, Officer Barney Whitmore. So what happens is another kind of cool aspect to this movie is, when Angela, having just killed everyone at the um, Herman campsite and killed Herman and killed everyone there, basically comes back, goes to another, now arrives at Lily's campsite and says she's supposed to trade with this Asian chick. So then she proceeds to kill the Asian chick and then come back and join Lily's group and will kill off everyone there and then go and say she's going to trade with someone at Barney Whitmore's group and kill that person. And so it's just kind of cool. The only thing that's kind of unrealistic is the fact that, well, I guess the person she traded with would need to follow her back because they wouldn't necessarily know where to go. So I guess that is kind of realistic. So I just think, I think that, from what I hear reading stuff online and stuff, that people generally prefer the second one to the third one. I mean, I think the third one is better than the second one in my opinion, and that's one of the many reasons why, as we see this decapitation, which you can see much more extended in the work print version that's featured on the Blu-ray. Could probably see all the extended uncut kills from this on YouTube, I would imagine. Maybe the whole work prints on YouTube. But now, having killed the Asian chick, who's the least interesting character of this group anyway, she comes back to Lily's, her favorite movies, E.T. This guy, Bobby Stark. Well, I like movies that make America look great, like Rambo Part 3. Great film. That's great because that movie was really new at the time. And here's Cindy's favorite movie is Gone with the Wind or the Care Bears. I think Care Bears is probably better than Gone with the Wind. I think that's an overrated, bloated piece of crap myself. Just because I'm a movie fanatic doesn't mean I love all movies. Although I probably would not really want to watch Care Bear movie either. Let hell that country shit. I never said I like country, but I'd rather listen to that to a bunch of bitch. Riff, you dirty. What's so funny is the killer here is just trying to enjoy the niceties of this thing that, and what's so funny is the humor in this scene where it's just like, upper class and lower class kids clashing and ruining the whole thing is it's realistic, and Angela's just trying to enjoy it. I don't know, or pretend to enjoy it or whatever. So now back at whatchamacallit, in a really cool shot here that's just kind of backlit by the sun. We're cutting to Barney Whitmore's camp here, and some of the campers are getting a little info on Angela Baker and what Officer Barney Whitmore knows about her. And I guess I should say, I haven't said it yet with this commentary, but the information that was revealed in the second film, which of course we didn't see this character or any Barney Whitmore in the first film, but the information that was revealed in the second movie is this man here, Barney Whitmore, was one of the cops that arrested Peter after the events of the first film. I'd kill her. And Tony asks Barney Whitmore what he'd do if he ever met Angela, and that was his response. Now we've got the character here of whatever the hell her name is, Lily Miranda. They're gonna do this trust game, which I'm pretty sure, just like the second film with putting your hands in slop and shit. I'm pretty sure this is something that really existed as well, probably mostly with church groups and all this kinds of horse shit and stuff, but maybe summer camps as well. Just trust this and that, and one person will be blindfolded and the other person leads them around, which kind of a perfect thing to have happen in a sleepaway camp movie, because once Angela blindfolds the other person, things aren't going to end well. This girl who plays Cindy is pretty good as just the bitch, and she just reminded me of so many girls in middle school and high school. She's cute, but that was really frustrating, and about girls in school where they were just like really cute or hot or whatever, but they were just bitches. I mean, it was always such a bummer to me, that so many of the attractive women, or some of the most attractive women, were just the least interesting. But so goes, I guess that's the way of nature or whatever. I mean, just so full of themselves. In one sense, you can't blame them, but in another sense, I can blame them. It's so funny how this character goes to have like light a cigarette and then take one puff of it and then just drop it. It's like, with what cigarettes cost now, people that are smokers now probably watch this and go, "Oh my God, she just dropped like $2.50 worth." As Cindy is scaring Angela with a turtle or something. The girl who plays, the Cindy character, she's really got a cute face. And now Angela strikes back as her knot has to be restarted here. Okay, we'll start again. Ties it tight. Sunglasses on for killer mode. And pushes her out of the shot. So, just like with so many of the kills for this movie, I think pretty much, maybe not all of them, but not the reporter getting her brains fried by the cleaning agent stuff, but a lot of the kills were cut, censored for the R rating. Once again, did I say this about the second movie? I don't remember, but I think it's so stupid if a movie's going straight to video that it even needs to get an R rating in the first place, but that's another story. But so I'd say the majority of the kills in this movie were edited, and this is one that was pretty heavily edited. In the work print version, you can see, the top angle, the high angle of the dummy corpse actually hitting the ground, whereas in the final version they cut away from it, and then you can tell that, that they really put like they had a melon for the head or something, like maybe a watermelon or something full of entrails or something, because you can see them in the uncut version where they're like just all spread out around the ground after the. Well, you can see her skip away from the character in even this cut, so we'll take a little look see if we can see, probably be able to see the splatted whatever. But this is obviously completely unrealistic. That this girl that she's hoisting up the flagpole probably weighs more than she does, and yet she's able to hoist her up. But it's a Z grade horror movie straight to video. We'll sync up the drop. Splat. Okay, now oh, yeah, okay, well, you can't really see much, it just looks like hair. You can't really see much. But I'm pretty sure yeah, I think you could kinda see the very beginning of the impact, but I think they held on it a little longer in the work print version. It's funny how this Lily Miranda character is reading Cruise magazine like she's all ready to take a her and Herman are gonna take a vacation. It's also funny how she's got a steak. It's so unrealistic because, obviously in a perfect world you should have the steak refrigerated. And if this is like the second camping day out in the woods, how you gonna where you gonna get the steak from? Unless I guess it's conceivable that she went back to the camp and got it out of the fridge or something. But I'm putting way too much thought into this horror movie. Right now, Angela is saying like, "Is that where those dead bodies were found? How'd you know about that? I must have read it somewhere. Don't tell anyone; it'll spook them." That's my mumble rap version of doing the dialogue from Sleepaway Camp 3. But it's funny how Herman and Lily expect that all the kids to catch and eat fish, and Lily's going to have a steak probably every day. So just like with the second film, this is kind of look at wow, there's all kinds of art of there's probably a new beginning of a new reel. There's all kinds of artifacts on the film, which I don't have a problem with. They kind of add to the movie in my opinion. Just like with the second movie, these are very very short movies. So the second one and this one have this scene of like filler stuff, which is kind of ironic because if you compare the final cut to the work print version. I mean, they cut this and that and, shortened this and that and stuff. So it's kind of funny that they'll trim stuff, and then end up having to have a scene to make the movie a little longer. It's like if you don't trim it, maybe you don't have to make it as long, but whatever. Basically, Lily had the character of Angela bring the trash back to the main camp building and just throw it in the back hole like they do to save money on not having to pay trash services. But I think, all in all, I think Pamela Springsteen looks a little better in this movie, I guess, with the wig and the oversized crew sweatshirt and stuff. I wish I could remember when I first saw the second movie. Like I say, it might not have been until I found a previously viewed VHS and just bought it, and maybe it was the first time I saw it. It's really interesting how I didn't really seek out the second movie. Okay, we're seeing shots from part 2 here and some actually shots of some, well, right there's the kitchen, but that quick little glimpses to scenes that were a scene that was probably cut down on the second film, but maybe they figured they'd use it for this movie. But this is a what we see here from the second movie wasn't there's some stuff that wasn't seen in the second movie. It's like deleted stuff from the second movie that where you can see here. And those shots of the campers there that briefly show up, they're probably extras from the second movie that we didn't see these shots in the second movie, but we're seeing them now. I'm pretty sure they do unfortunately, yeah. She's singing Happy Camper, and I think there's that her looking up was her trying to remember the lyrics, I think. And it's funny how we don't really show the two characters next to her in this flashback, because on either side of her is Allie and the virginal sweet girl, whatever the hell, Molly, but they don't show them at all in this flashback. So I kind of think that this filler scene is possibly a little better than the filler scene in the second film because the filler scene in the second movie is just showing kills that we'd seen minutes earlier, and this one at least is like seeing footage from the second movie that we didn't see in the second movie. It's kind of the character of Angela getting all 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 sentimental, and there, see, there's the characters, the camper extras from the second film, the shot of them. Now she's doing the "you really, really like me" thing, as I'm remembering that I'm probably not doing enough things to keep people synced if people are trying to sync this up after the fact, but clapping. I think what the editor does here is kind of cool. It's almost like from the editor of Graduation Day. So this filler scene, I once again, is, I think, more competent than the filler scene in the second movie because we're seeing footage that we'd never seen before. Unlike the filler scene for the second movie is just like a recap of the kills that we saw moments earlier. It's like kind of funny. So doing these commentary live streams with no chat, I'm actually kind of thinking that, my whole theory of the, of there being like a one for a pity one to make you feel like there's always a one to make you feel like even if no one's showing up for the stream, there's always someone there. I think that I think that doing these chatless commentaries is kind of putting that theory to rest because mostly, like, the past three or four ones that I've done that are chatless, mostly it's just a zero. So I think that whole theory, I by doing these chatless commentaries, I kind of put to rest because I always thought up until I started doing these chatless commentaries that there was always like they'd always put a pity one there to make it look like at least one person was watching. This is where Angela comes back and realizes that the steak was just for Lily, and now she's gonna be made to do a trust game with Bobby Stark. And of course, look at Bobby Stark's pants. That's late '80s, baby. No fucking way. I'm doing Riff's line there. Oh, this is where it's revealed that the steak was Lily. She's allergic to fish. Whoop! They each tied up and each tried to go a separate way. A little comedic relief there. This scene I like. It's one of the eh, only scenes in the eh, two sequel films that actually take place at kind of a lake. So one would assume that they had access to this lake in the second film. I wonder why they didn't really show it at all. So this is like, with the exception of the firecrackers, prank on Angela earlier in the movie. Cool, one of the only lake scenes in the Sleepaway Camp sequels, two or three anyway. And it's fun to see the scene just taking place in this one shot in the lake, just sparkling in the background there. There's Bobby Stark is about to reveal to Angela that he's being tied up next to her, gets him hot or turns him on or whatever his verbiage is. But once again, the guy who plays Bobby Stark here is so freaking good, and it kind of makes me wonder if this guy was ever in anything else. I would imagine a lot of these people are just as like one and done with Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3, except for like the actors that they get, like Tracy Griffith and the girl from the second movie that's related to whoever, Estevez, Emilio Estevez. I think her name was Renee Estevez or something. It's so funny because she looked so much more like Donald Sutherland or bloodline. It's just crazy. No, I don't. I wonder if that sneeze was real. The guy just Bobby. What's his name? Bobby Stark just sneezed. But once again, just like with so many scenes in the second film, this little scene between these two characters, all just played in a one shot, save time, film money. We don't need any coverage on that, scene. That's true. There's fish. We put them in Lily's face. But every time I watch, seeing the little campsite set up and Every time I watch Sleepaway 3, I do wanna just get out there and try it again and, sleep in the tent and torture myself and whatever, but, it seems more appealing than perhaps it really is, sleeping in a tent in the woods. This part's really funny where Angela's like, we just spent, all this time getting the fish. I think it's only fair that you clean them." "What? Can you turn down the music?" And pretty soon Rip's gonna just grab a gun. "What?" "Oh, I said that early. Damn it." And she's like, "Bobby, you clean the fish." It's kind of ironic that, the character of Angela is probably a little taken aback by the reveal of the gun, was kind of probably, "How am I gonna kill this character who's got a gun?" A gun is usually not something that's found in a horror movie. And it is funny how the character Angela will end up using the gun. It's once again, it's not generally a horror movie weapon, so it's kind of funny how they have Angela use it. And once again, and see, to me, the least interesting scenes of 3 are these ones involving the Tracy Griffith and character and the Tony character, the budding love affair, I think is probably the least interesting scenes in the Sleepaway Camp 3 for me. But I think I mentioned this in my review of the movie years ago, that one thing I do love about having to suffer through these budding love affair or lust affair, it's probably more of a lust affair on her end, is how it ends at the end of the movie, where it's just like, he thinks they're gonna get married, and she's like, "Well, actually, I got a boyfriend back home, so you can come visit if you want." I thought that was kind of a funny play on happy endings, and also, once again, kinda realistic, really. I remember reading years ago, I think it was around the time that these Sleepaway Camp sequels Blu-rays came out, that the film elements for 2 and 3 are, like, lost, but luckily, at some point, they had made these scans, and, watching this one now, I'm just glad they did because, this does look pretty good, and it just makes me wonder, like, why, you know, how the fuck, with a relatively, I mean, it's not a huge franchise or anything, but relatively, you know, popular mini micro franchise, couple of horror movie sequels made in the late 80s, Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. I mean, why? I don't understand, why the elements would ever end up getting lost. Makes no sense. But at least we've got the Blu-rays of 2 and 3. And I just hope, oh, what's ironic is in the UK, 88 films, I'm pretty sure they're still available. 88 films for region B or C or whatever the UK is. I think it might be B. Actually has Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 available. And the irony is I don't think they have the first one on Blu-ray. And in the North America, you can still get the Scream Factory version of the first one, but Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 are out of print on Blu-ray. So it's just ironic. What I was gonna say is hopefully, for those unfortunate people who want to Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3 on Blu-ray, but don't aren't willing to pay the astronomical amount that they're going for online, hopefully someone can get the rights and put them out on Blu-ray again in North America or Region A, you know? It's just a shame when stuff like that happens. Same thing with, like, the Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3 Scream Factory Blu-rays. It's just like, let's get the rights thing sorted out or figured out and just get these movies, back in print. So here we have Angela in sunglasses. It's kind of a cool look. Once again, that'd be kind of a cool NECA figure, Angela in wig, sunglasses, crew sweatshirt, long sleeve for the fall. Here we've got Angela taking Lily Miranda back to the place where they just bury their trash to save on money for cruises, and putting her in the hole with the trash and singing "I'm a Happy Camper," kind of fun. I'm just reminded of how this scene ends, where it cuts to who knows how long later, where she's completely buried up to her neck, and the killing by lawnmower was kind of fun. Once again, cut down for the final version from the original version. I mean, they probably just put a lawnmower over a melon or something, I would imagine. It's not what you see in the work print version's not all that amazing. It's so funny right here. She says, "Oh, by the way, your husband fools around." Just before you die, I'll just make it a little worse for you. That's so funny. So this isn't the end of as she starts the snapper. Is that a snapper brand lawnmower? I think I saw the word snapper. So obviously it's probably not even running in these shots as it approaches her. Then we have a shot where it passes through the frame where it's actually on, but this shot here is probably not on. Kind of a fun scene. That shot it's obviously on, and then probably comes down on a melon right there, and you can tell that that was trimmed, you know. Um, Here we got Bobby Stark catching her off guard. This is one of the funnest kills, I think, and as we can see, it's freaking nighttime and it's freezing. We can see their breaths. Probably late September, maybe, I don't know, who knows, early to mid October, maybe, when they're doing this. Georgia, somewhere in Georgia. But this is once again just played in a. I don't think there's really any coverage. Just played in a one shot, which works fine. Saves time, money. Once again, I I love this the dialogue here and the performance of Bobby Stark. Bondage camp. Wouldn't that be cool to read about this? And here he's letting her know he appreciates this. He thinks he's gonna get, I don't know what, a BJ, or actually no, because right here he says, "So, when do we screw?" So I guess he thought he was gonna get more than that. I don't know how he expects to screw when he's tied to a tree, but this this bit is funny. And once again, in the work print version, you there's more of she pulls his arms right off, and the blood kind of just pours from the stumps. But in the final version of this, it makes it just look like she kind of broke his arms, but in reality, she yanks both of his arms off. I think you can see his armless body later on at the end of the movie. That shot pushing in towards the tent at night is really, really cool and would have been a great trailer shot for the movie. As Riff is looking at some girly magazines in his tent, Angela records her own rap to give to Riff basically before killing him. So when I was 14, actually we got it probably when I was maybe 11 or 12, but we had a tent very similar to this where it was one of these triangle ones, and it's probably a two-person tent, but just seeing tents like this in Sleepaway Camp 3 just bring me back to childhood, and I camp out in the backyard in this tent as a 11, 12-year old and probably 14-year-old and stuff, but the kind of just the triangle kind of tent with a little air flap in the back. Oh god. So much easier to sleep in a tent as a teenager. Like when I became an adult, I just got so like I don't know, it just I don't know. Every little sound just keeps me up and, you know. Anyway, Riff is dead. And now, ooh, I don't know, Angela jealous there? And now Angela is approaching the third and final group. And I think she right there when she gave them that look kind of decided right then who that she was gonna said that she's supposed to replace. I can't remember. Is her name Marsha? Is the redhead's name Marsha? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But now she's basically, oh, look at this now. I forgot. So, um, what's his name? Barney Whitmore is going along, but I guess it doesn't. Maybe this is in part why Angela does this fake fall or something. Oh, did you see that little thing that Pamela Springsteen did? Almost like a dance move where she was like put up both her arms over her head and kind of went. It's just like that's really weird. I wonder if she even knew she did that. So now I think she's I don't know if Angela's faking about this, sprained ankle or what. But whether she's faking it or not, she's got this sprained ankle and just imagine having the father of a of a boy you killed, tending to your injury like this. Talk about a guilt complex it'd give me. Of course, I'd never kill anyone, but imagine getting pampered by the father of someone you killed. I'd feel so guilty. Angela's revealing the gluttonous behavior of Lily Miranda and the what's that religious word for fornicating fornicating ways of Herman Miranda. Fornicates with the campers. Yeah, looking at the little zero there as people watching, I'm convinced that YouTube doesn't necessarily do the pity pity number one after all. Oh, my foot's cramping up. This is so funny. Angela tells her to go. Oh, my foot's cramping up. Oh, Jesus. Usually it only happens in the water. Oh, Mother Teresa. So as I do a commentary during a foot cramp, okay, Angela tells that redhead to go look at Lily. Just, oh my God. Let me just rub. Oh, fuck. Usually I don't get, oh, fuck. This is real. Oh, I think it's subsiding. Nate in pain for real. Use this audio how you see fit. so so this Tracy Griffith character, having just seen the headless Lily just taking it easy on the lawn chair, and Barney went out there. I think this scene is kind of goofy where he like yells from outside, Marcia, run away, Marcia, run away, and then doesn't like come in until she's ran away. It's just kind of goofy how they do this. But as we can see here, Angela's got Riff's gun and a very non-slasher movie weapon. Something more you'd find in New Jack City or something of the like. Here we've got I think this guy does a pretty good job here coming in being pissed off at the murderer of his son. And that line, you look just like your son when you get mad. There's Captain James T. Kirk of Camp New Horizons. I like the line where he's like, you're gonna cut my head off like you did my son's. He's got I don't know where he got the 2 by 4, but he's got a 2 by 4. He's asking her how she's gonna kill him. I'll do the gunshots here so you can sync up because I'm sure people are just watching the movie back listening to this. Come on, Angela. What's it gonna be? A gun. That third shot was a little late. I thought there might have only been two. Oh, that's kind of cool though, having a cop being killed by a gun. Kind of fitting. We've got Barney's 80s Jeep Wrangler there. Oh, okay. So as Angela's limping, her I guess she wasn't faking her ankle injury. I guess it was real. So now Angela's after. I want to say the redhead is Marsha. I think redhead is after Marsha. Some of these there's a still shot from this Jeep chase scene on the back of the VHS. And once again, I mean the music here isn't. It's kind of just like dun 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 dun. Dun. It's really the music for the Sleepaway 2 and 3, in my opinion, aren't isn't anything to write home about, but that's okay. It'd be interesting to know if like these films were of a probably I don't know. It'd be interesting to know what the budget of 2 and 3 was compared to the first one. So now we're seeing a really cool shot of the moonlight, probably at dusk, or the moon, probably at dusk. So now the three remaining people on in Barney Whitmore's group are waiting at a very cool, wonderfully lit nighttime campfire shot. Angela coming back to let everyone know that we're all supposed to meet at this main camp or whatever for whatever. And one of my many problems with the second movie is just that the end is just kind of anticlimactic. And I think they improved in my opinion on so many things with Sleepaway Camp 3 compared to the second one. And I think one of the things that they improved on is the ending here where they she basically takes the three remaining characters and ties them all together for a trust game and very much with like the abandoned cabin from the second movie where all the victims are in. This time there'll be like two or three separate, or maybe it's just the two cabins where she sets up the corpses and has them kind of run through all tied together or whatever. And this is kind of cool seeing a very Friday the 13th ish Barney Whitmore coming down. And once again, they do this shot all in one big long shot with no coverage. And God, how uncomfortable it must have been for this guy in the background to just hang there like that. I wonder how many times they did that take. But while she's doing this dialogue, he's just got to hang there. But that's kind of cool detail. And how to even, you got to give them props for even rigging that up and just having them drop down like that on cue and having this guy just hang there. I would imagine it's the real guy who played the character throughout the whole movie and not some double. Here, Angela's basically letting them know the rules. I think Marsha's in one of the cabins or whatever, and they've got 5 minutes to find her or whatever. I don't know all the rules. I don't watch this as often as Friday 13th, but this scene is, I think it's better than the end of the second film. Yeah, that's probably the real guy hanging there. But look at he just hung there unmoving for like, I don't know, 90 seconds or more as they go into the first cabin. This is kind of like a Halloween, just like, a scary Halloween haunted house situation where we're going to go in there and look at all the victims that have died throughout the course of the movie. So there's cabin one, no Marcia. Okay, is it right here? The girl. No, it's they go. Well, I guess when they're going to the third cabin or whatever. There's the guy with no arms, even though his arms are probably folded inside the shirt in front of him. That's so sloppy. So here, the girl who's tied up is going to fall down for real. She's going to fall down for real here. Bam! She falls down for real. I don't imagine that was, planned that way. And you can tell that her arms weren't tied behind her back because she is using her arms in that shot. Okay. Third building, Marsha's there, and I always thought it was so corny how the axes come down to kill the two people on either side of them, and how that one hatchet is tied to a stick is just so stupid. It's like, yeah, that would work. Oh God. And it's interesting how Angela is basically gonna let these two lovebirds live and drive away, but Marcia, in all her redhead rage, is gonna come. Bye. As Angela is going to limp away, so I guess that injury wasn't faked. Or maybe it was, and she's just so convincing she believes her own faked injury. I like the lighting there in that shot as she's approaching the Jeep. Okay, here comes Marcia. She's not she's not gonna have it. Swipe. We've got an 89 New York sticker on the window of the Jeep. Here's girl fight, just like with, I'm pretty sure this happened between her and Molly as well in the second film. Look at Pamela Springsteen's no butt. Sorry, Pamela. The no butt. And Sleepaway Camp fans are probably very traumatized at this moment upon first viewing as they see the beloved character of Peter that turned to Angela being stabbed multiple times in the stomach. This doesn't bode well for future Sleepaway Camp sequels, but I think three are enough. And in case you're wondering, yes, I know Return to Sleepaway Camp exists, but I pretend like it doesn't. To say nothing of Sleepaway Camp 4 The Survivor, which is basically just like footage from, I don't know, the first three movies and a little bit of new footage filmed. Here's the It's really cool how they do some bits in just in single shots. Here's where Tony's got all these plans for their future, and she's like reveals that she's already in a relationship. It's just such a fun way to end. These two characters are the surviving characters of this horror movie, and she's gotta, you know, spill that on him, or however the hell you say it. Now, I'm pretty sure I saw this one guy here before in other movies. Maybe not. I don't know. He just seems familiar. The guy who's the paramedic. This is where the cop is saying she doesn't deserve to live. We should just kill her. It wouldn't be hard to do, he says. Kind of a sloppy ending here as Angela's just going to jab the syringe somewhere where you don't want a syringe. Oh, okay. That's okay. The cop gets it where you don't want it. Ooh. Hey, what's going on back there? Just taking care of business. Like we need to sync you up at the end of the movie. It's funny if you watch the work print version. She actually, after she says that line, the scene continues on where she does the rap, the rap by Riff's rap there, or the rap that she wrote before for Riff before she killed Riff, I think. And I agree with the decision to cut the rap out. It's just like a little too much. So I think ending with just taking care of business was perfectly fine. But once again, I appreciate whoever showed up and and threw up the thumb. Thank you very much. It's cool. I mean, I realize obviously that these commentaries don't have chat enabled, and it's nice when when people show up to show support regardless. So I guess as the credits roll, that's pretty much the end of Sleepaway Camp 3 and basically the end of the Sleepaway Camp commentaries. Unless someone wants to give me $100 on PayPal, I'll do a commentary for Return to Sleepaway Camp. But if that doesn't happen, don't expect a commentary for Return to Sleepaway Camp. Not exactly sure what the next commentary will be. I guess I'll just decide and do it and when I decide or whenever. But the commentaries are kind of cool. It's kind of cool how, on this channel I kind of branched out this year with, last year starting with the showcasings of Laserdiscs and VHS, and this year the radio show and fan commentaries. And I do plan to, we're pretty close here to the end of the warm weather in my area, so I do plan to try to make a return to the radio show thing and see if people return for that to interact and chat and stuff. I just got kind of worn out um, by the time the warm weather arrived. Plus the warm weather arrived, and I just felt like, let's take the weather or take the summer off for the radio show, but with tentative plans at the time to return. So I'll probably return to the radio show. Obviously, I'll make a little blurb, little quick video on my plans to or when my first radio show will be for the fall. I don't imagine it'd be until maybe not until October, but you know, um, I do plan to return back to the radio show, and once again, just like we did, when the radio show was going, kind of week to week situation based on how many people show up and participate or whatever. Not too sure. I don't know. Part of me is like, do I need to do it every week? I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. But as far as I said, the next commentary, I guess time will tell. I guess I don't really know right now. I've got a request to do Terror Train, but being the anal bastard I am, I don't know if I can really do that until there's snow on the ground. But I suppose I could try. Oh, that's something that I thought of. Obviously, my plan for the fall going into October, it kind of seems like a daunting task, but I guess they go by pretty quick. I kind of wanted to do it at minimum the first three Halloween movies, obviously, and I kind of want to do four, but then I feel like I can't do four without doing five. I don't really want to do five, but I'd probably, if I did four, one, two, and one, two, three, and four, I'd probably make myself do five. But the Halloween commentaries would end with five, more or less, probably, I would imagine. But that's something that I'll probably do. I don't know if those will be the next bunch of commentaries or not, but I'm kind of babbling at this point, so time will tell. You'll definitely find out what the next commentaries will be, obviously, when I do them. So, as always, thank you very much for listening to this commentary. If you did, appreciate the support and the thumbs up. And I guess, as always, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot.